everybody, this is MadPanda Games here, and today we're going to be tackling another part of 1001 Days. Now, where we last left off, I believe we just met Anka and Noor, and then she had to leave. So, we're back to the palace. So let's get started, guys. The people gather, filling in from the different doors that riddle the walls of the ballroom. The center lay nearly empty, ready for the Empress to take her place there and make her speech. The only two standing there currently are the men who had been dancing when you'd first arrived. You start making your way to a spot in the crowd where you hope the Empress won't notice you. However, distracted with looking for the prime location, you bump into another individual. You turn to see who you had walked into. Oh shit. Before you stands the Empress. I'm so sorry. She raises a hand, silencing you. There is not a trace of anger on her face. Boy, she looked hot as hell. It's fine. You stand there in silence as she brushes past you, not acknowledging your presence any further than the single sentence she uttered. Ifrita stands between the two men, and immediately people bow. You quickly follow suit. Zahn, Sukut, thank you for this lovely evening. Zahn places a hand on his chest. It is my pleasure, Ifrita. Ifrita turns her attention to the crowd and begins to speak, her voice captivating them. You continue to watch, but your focus seems to fade slowly. Black dots threaten your vision, your head suddenly feeling weightless upon your shoulders. A familiar eldritch voice calls out to you. Its incoherent words echo in your ears. Fear bubbles in your stomach, rising to your chest, constricting your heart. It has been a long time since the last time this happened. Suddenly, in the distance, you can hear Ifrita stop speaking. The silence lingers. You take your attention away from the eldritch voice and look to the Empress, wondering who had interrupted her speech. When you look to her, you notice that her gaze is fixated on you. Her face is riddled with shock, and deep within her eyes you see fear. Uh-oh. Time seems to go in slow motion as you watch crimson stain the white of the Empress's dress. Her gaze falls, a hand clutching at her chest where the blood pools. You watch in shock as the Empress, so mighty, so renowned, collapses to the ground. As blood pools beneath her, the room breaks into chaos. Oh, and that's it. Aw man, I could have finished that the last moment. That was a good way to stop that. But, quick menu to save your game. Yeah, let's save here. And then escape that. And then, like, isn't there, hold on. If I click this. No, okay, so I need to upload the second chapter. So I guess I'll do that. So I will see you guys just in a bit. Hey guys, and so I am back, and we're just gonna start immediately onto the second chapter. So let's do this. As blood pools beneath her, the room breaks into chaos. For the next several seconds, all you can see is a blur of colors as people rush to and fro. The horrified screams of the partygoers around you fuel the chaos, only adding to the confusion. Through the chaos, you attempt to look for Anka. No matter how much you search and call out for her, you cannot seem to find her. Enough! The voice booms across the ballroom, and everybody stops in their tracks as they seek its source. You see Zahn where he stood previously, by Ifrita, with Sukut kneeling at her side. 3 figures stand at his side, all watching the crowd. Who did this? His eyes scour the crowd, looking for a guilty face among the sea of confusion. Without breaking eye contact with the crowd, he speaks once more. Alibaba, who did this? The Lota steps forward, towering above the guest and looking among them for something, or someone. You watch his gaze, curious as to whom he would accuse. Suddenly, his eyes rest on you, and he nods his head in your direction. That one, over there. What? No! Anka rushes through the crowd to where you stand, grabbing your hand. She looks to the Empress and then back to you. Panda would never do something like this. She was the last person seen in contact with the Empress. Your heart beats rapidly in your chest, the fear bubbling and pooling into your lungs, nearly suffocating you as you stand there. You try to speak to defend yourself, but your throat constricts. You could tell them the truth. You couldn't have seen anything. You'd been experiencing a vision, the same ones whose torment had brought you here. No, you think. Confessing to a large group of people about your possible possession by a jinn or the like will be tantamount to a death wish. Instead, you drop your gaze to the floor and stay silent. Please, no. She didn't do anything. I swear on my life. Anka's grip on your hand tightens, and her tone seems strained as if she were crying. Remove everyone from the ball. Check their belongings. Get their names. You look up and see Zahn's glare burning into you. His eyes are filled with hatred, and it seems the only thing holding him back is the large group of potential witnesses. You stand perfectly still, not daring to move as the guests are escorted out of the ballroom. Once they are gone, led out by the other guards, the silence rings in your ears. The pressure in your chest only increases, the fear of uncertainty rising. I think we're going to jail. Guys, pretty sure we're going to jail. Sukut, how is she? Sukut rises, holding the Empress in his arms. He hesitates to speak, looking to you before returning his attention to Zahn. She's breathing. I'll take her to her room. You watch as he carries the Empress out of the ballroom, through one of its many hallways. As they disappear into the hall, attention returns to you. So, no fireworks? Zahn shoots a glare in the Lotas' direction, but the Lotas simply shrugs, seeming amused by his reaction. I would love fireworks. They would lighten the mood. Gosh, he's hot too. The Empress is dying, and all you can think about is fireworks? The div hardly flinches at Zahn's raised tone, apparently unaware of the fact that his request was inappropriate. I thought they would make you happy. You know, lighten the mood after all of that. Nothing a couple of fireworks can't fix. You watch Zahn bare his teeth, the irritated twitch of his face revealing sharp canines. Knowing that his anger would not affect the div, Zahn brings his attention back to you. Noir, arrest her. They will be executed in the morning for treason. Anka steps in front of you, her arms wide open, protecting you. If you take her, then you take me as well. And if you take me, then you will be killing the heiress of the Redom throne and declaring war between our two people. Choose wisely, High Priest. You have no one to leave your armies, should I die, but there is still someone who sits on the Redom throne. Do you think I'm supposed to be afraid of some child's threats? Move aside. I have no qualms about executing you with her. No. No? What do you mean, no? Do you not know what no means, Zahn? I know what no means. Wait, you know what no is? Or do you know what no is? Or no, you don't know what no or no are. What? What? Suddenly, Zahn's anger subsides, as if the wave of confusion had washed out all the flames of fury. Sinbad, what are you even talking about? So you don't know what no is? Or do you not know what no's meaning is, but you know no's meaning? Or is it the other way around? What is happening? You watch Zahn's frustration rise, his face turning red as Sinbad continues to speak. Before he can turn his ire towards Sinbad, Noor steps forward. I will not arrest these two, Zahn. It is not within your jurisdiction to command the champions. How dare you? The Empress implicitly stated that should she be unable to continue her rule with her boys still young, then the champions will take over her responsibilities, specifically me. We do not follow your commands, nor those of the Magisters. You watch as Champion Noor fearlessly fuels the flames of hatred. Zahn's temper rises, his fists clench together as a fire begins to protrude and burst from his closed palms. Despite the threatening display, Noor steps forward, placing her hands on both his shoulders. Zahn, I know you are upset, but it is not wise to make rash decisions right now. I will take care of this. You have my word. Go and be with her. A moment passes, and you are unsure of the general's fate. The ferocity in Zahn's voice and eyes would make anyone step back in fear, yet the general stands there with confidence. The anger drips off his shoulders, his body relaxing and the flame subsiding from his hands. He says something to Noor, but you can't hear. When he takes his leave following the same path Suku took, he does not spare a glance towards you. As you watch him go, you feel Anka's hand grab onto yours. She isn't looking at you, but you can tell the fear of Zahn's threats had brought her to tears. You squeeze her hand, and she squeezes back. The investigation will continue. Alibaba, I am entrusting you with taking command of this task. Sinbad, I want you to take control of the Imperial Guard while I try to maintain some semblance of political order. Alibaba tilts his head in a small bow. As you wish. I'll be delighted to, Noir. Noir lets out a deep sigh as she pinches the bridge of her nose. I believe you. I don't think you did it. However, to find the person who did, we must investigate as thoroughly as we can. I will have to ask for you to stay here in the palace until further notice. Sinbad, Alibaba, if all the guests have gone, please show these two to a room. Without another word, the two champions begin to lead you out of the ballroom. The spy master walks behind, somewhat lagging, while Sinbad cheerfully takes the lead. Huh. Well, this has taken a turn for the worse. The palace is a far better jail than the real cell in the prison tower. Despite this, you can't help but feel afraid of the uncertainty that lay ahead of you. Noor had said she didn't believe that you were the attacker, but what would become of you if no one else turned up during their investigation? Your hand goes to your throat, itching at the place where you had seen criminals hang from. Sometimes their death wasn't swift, leaving them hanging there in agony with no one to help. And it isn't only your life on the line. If Anka were to die, the catastrophe would be massive. A war would inevitably break out, and millions would die. You feel cornered. You can't tell them the truth. They would either not believe it or label you as possessed. Both options lead to your execution. You have to find who did this, one way or another. Not only for yourself, but for the sake of the millions who may die due to an outbreak of war. Your stomach does flips as the realization settles onto your shoulders. Playing detective is never easy. You certainly didn't ask to be thrown into this catastrophe. Now either you swim or you drown, but even swimming doesn't guarantee that you will reach the shore. That is a great saying. I should use that, like motivational speaking type. The decorations fade as you walk, further from the ballroom until there is not a trace of celebration left. The hallways are dimly lit, not anticipating any guests during this event. As you walk, you feel the cold air of night creep around you, the flames of the candles going out as you tread further into the palace. You feel a hand rest on your shoulder. In the darkness, you can see Sinbad's cheerful blue eyes. Don't worry, the palace is the safest place on Gehenna. From behind you, you hear a laugh. So safe. Sinbad waves him off. I'm older, so I know best. You can't keep using that as a way to win arguments. But I have, and I did win. You didn't win anything, Sinbad. That's what everyone says when they lose an argument. I like him. You hear a grumble, but nothing more from the spy master. The four of you continue to walk in silence. You look to the princess to see how she's faring. Her brows are furrowed and her eyes are set in deep concentration. Finally, you approach a pair of golden double doors. With a single gesture, Sinbad brings the candles to life, illuminating the area around you. Alibaba steps out from behind the group and produces a chain of keys, many, many keys, from a pocket. Without any pause, he takes one from the bunch and places it within the lock, turning the key with a soft click. He stops before opening the door, standing there motionless. After a beat, he turns to Sinbad and gestures with his hand. Is something wrong? Anka's voice is barely above a whisper, but she doesn't dare take a step further. Instead, she takes one back. You follow suit, not willing to take the chance. Sinbad places a hand on the door and closes his eyes, seemingly sensing for something within the room. No one makes a sound as he did so, waiting patiently for him to speak. I can't feel anything. No heartbeat, no breathing. Stand back. The spy master flings the door open. A den of snakes slithers frantically out of the room as spiders crawl out onto the ceiling and the walls. Anka lets out a scream before placing a barrier around the two of you. Sinbad watches the display in confusion as Alibaba stomps down on one of the snakes before he can get away. The princess covers her mouth, face tinted green with disgust. Is someone trying to kill us, too? He crouches down to the floor, examining the snake. Now that the chaos has subsided somewhat, you're able to get a better look as well. It is pitch black and more worm-like than a snake. The pattern of its scales resembles red, hieroglyphic eyes. Instead of blood, metallic black begins to pool beneath it, before finally dissolving into dust. The Spymaster stands straight, and Anka drops her protective barrier, still staying far away with her hand on her mouth and nose. Smell hits you then. It is indistinguishable but vile. It rots in your nostrils and scratches away at your throat. You can nearly taste the rot in your mouth. It smells like someone left a corpse in the sun, the smell of decaying flesh and fresh bile mixing with the humidity. You couldn't feel anything because it wasn't living. Sinbad leads closer to the dust of the creature before reeling back, gagging and coughing. By the flame, that is awful! Do you know what it is, Ollie? By the gods, get that thing away from me! I feel like I'm suffocating on someone's corpse. Ali Baba dips his tail into the metallic liquid, and just as the skin makes contact, you hear the sound of sizzling. He does not remove his tail immediately, but he grabs onto it and examines the burn mark closely. You hate the smell because it's iron. Pure iron. Let's take them to another room. Come on. The Spymaster heads down the hallway. Sinbad takes a broad step over the pool of iron, follows suit. Anka hesitates, staring at the pool before sighing deeply. She says nothing as she joins the other two. You catch up to them, thankful to escape the threatening smell. I feel as if someone's trying to kill us now. You journey to another, more lively part of the palace, proceeds in total silence. No one attempts conversation, either out of exhaustion or from fear. After that display, you feel watched, as though any closed door could contain another nest of iron snakes and spiders. This part of the palace appears to be more lived in, with people occupying the rooms every once in a while. Where you were before was just as beautiful as where you are now, but the eerie quiet of the empty apartments had filled you with unease. At least here you can hear the footsteps of servants and the chatter of butlers and maids. Ali Baba stops in front of another pair of grand doors, their design just the same as the one from before. He opens it, not having to use any sort of keys. You brace for another swarm, but are met with a simple but elegant room. You're reluctant to approach, but after watching Sinbad nonchalantly strut inside, you feel reassured. Okay, this is better. I'll stand guard tonight, Sinbad. Tomorrow night you stand guard, and then Noir. Anka breaks her silence, finally speaking up. Noir didn't mention anything about someone standing watch. After that display, it wouldn't be safe for a mere guard to stand watch. Oh, and it's safer for the Spymaster, who accused us of treason, to stand watch instead. Oh dang, she's got spunk. There would be no difference between here and there, because there would still be a snake slithering about as we sleep. Her tone is harsh enough that it catches you by surprise. You had never heard Anka speak with such animosity before. Then again, you two had never been accused of attacking an empress either. Anka looks to you as she gestures to the Spymaster, who doesn't seem very bothered by her tone. I'm sure Sinbad would make a better companion than him. I don't know, he seems like the one to be able to kill him, because Sinbad can't deal with stuff like that. Sorry, Anka, I'm disagreeing. I think it should be fine. Anka looks displeased with your answer, but doesn't defend her stance any longer. Instead, she turns to sit on the bed, apprehension and irritation mingling in her expression. Sinbad claps his hand together with such ferocity it creates a snap loud enough to startle you and the princess. Apparently has no clue of his own strength, considering that when you look to him, he's just smiling merrily. Ali Baba is a wonderful sleeping companion. We spend some nights together, and they're delightful. You watch Ali Baba place a hand over the grates of his mask and look away from the group, his shoulders shaking as he laughs to himself. When he regains his composure, he places a hand on Sinbad's shoulder, his eyes filled with glee. You're right, I am a wonderful bed companion. He looks to you and Anka. But we won't be doing those things tonight, Sinbad. I'll be awake, standing watch. Sinbad scratches his jaw, clueless as to what Ali Baba is referring to. It appears he had lost himself in the conversation, unaware of the innuendo behind Ali Baba's words. Ah, very well. I shall retire to my room. Sleep well, my friends. When Sinbad leaves, Ali Baba gestures to the closet as he takes a seat on the nest of pillows just by the balcony doors. Some sleepwear should be in there. I'm sure it'll fit. You walk over to the closet and pull open the doors, revealing an array of white sleeping gowns and shirts hung up neatly in place. You briefly wonder whom they belong to, but the guilt passes when you think about how it would be more comfortable to sleep in these than your current outfit. Do you mind? Alibaba does not move from his place even as you began to undress. I don't mind at all. Do you? Yes, I do. Please at least give us some privacy and look away. He lets out an annoyed sigh, moving his attention elsewhere, particularly outside towards the balcony. Will you help me remove my dress? You nod, and she approaches, turning her back to you. She pulls her dreads out of the way, letting your fingers free the latches that hold the dress up. She shrugs off the dress, and the fabric cascades down to her ankles, exposing her bare back. You can feel heat rushing to your cheeks. On her back is a constellation of freckles, perfectly positioned to match the star's location in the sky on the day of her birth. She is truly unique, even if she dislikes that fact. Anka had once confessed to you her desire for anonymity, to not be related to royalty or an heir to a throne. She envied those with a simple life, people who were not tied down to a destiny forced upon them. She told you that when they looked at her, they only saw what she could be, never who she really was. She hated being reduced to a title or a figurehead. In a way, you sympathize. Being Oracle isn't an easy task, but while you can retire, she is bound to the life to which she was born. You step away to get changed into something more comfortable yourself. You and Anka settle in, not taking any time to explore the room. Exhaustion has settled deep within your bones, and the only thing you care about is getting some sleep. You take a deep breath. If Alibaba stays awake, he'll surely witness your nightmares. He would know, and you would be left vulnerable before the spy master. You can only hope for him to become exhausted and eventually fall asleep himself. Oh, we all know that's not gonna happen. He's a champion. You continue to reassure yourself, going through the sleeping methods that you've used hundreds of times over. As the night passes, you find yourself unable to sleep despite the exhaustion that still makes your body heavy. Anka had managed to fall asleep. Now you watch the ceiling in agony. You play the thought of getting up and walking around, but you remember Alibaba is still standing guard. Please, just let me sleep, you think, shutting your eyes tightly and waiting for the bliss of sleep to take you away from this torture. Panda? The voice beckons to you, and you whip your head around, trying to look for the speaker. You're met still darkness in a silent, slumbering room. You lay your head back down, wondering if the others had heard it too. Panda! The voice is now directly by your ear. You attempt to sit up, but your body has been seized by fear, leaving you immobile. You choke on your fear. Your voice is lost deep in the depths of terror. The voice calling to you laughs in a low rumbling tone, like scraping gravel. Somebody please wake up. The voice begins to speak louder, its tone venomous as it chants in your ear. It is not the usual static-like voice that haunts your dreams. It is clear, despite speaking in a language you cannot comprehend. You feel the mattress beneath you shift as Anka reaches for you, placing a warm hand on your arm. She says something beneath her breath, and you immediately feel relief. The invisible chains that bind you slip away, allowing you to sit up straight in the bed. In the dim light, you see the looks of concern on Anka's face. Alibaba's green eyes gaze at you from where he stands at the edge of the bed. Okay, I know this is important and dramatic, but boy, does she look sexy in that outfit. You feel Anka's hand slide down along with her body as she meets the pillow and promptly falls back to sleep. The spy master kneels to your seated height, head canting to the side in a bird-like manner. Is he scrutinizing you? And analyzing you? Does this further incriminate you? Questions buzz in your head as you continue to look back at him. To your surprise, his eyes relax. Instead of suspicion, there is concern. His hand reaches for you but hesitates midair. Finally, he places it on your arm. Panda, are you okay? You swallow your fear and nod. Your voice strains as you speak. I'm fine. You don't hide your discomfort or fear. The voice had been right by your ear, speaking to you. It wasn't a vision or a dream. It was real. You place your head on your pillow and close your eyes. You feel Alibaba's presence linger until it's somewhat gone. Not entirely, but not by the side of your bed anymore either. Exhaustion takes you, and slowly you drift off to sleep. Oh, this looks so much nicer in the morning. The sunlight pours into the room, reflecting off the alabaster walls to create a warm glow. Your eyes slowly open as you register the warmth of another body by you. Across from you, Anka sleeps peacefully. The light from the window frames her and creates a halo around her head. You can't help but smile at the sight. She seems so at peace. Even with the chaos around you, you find that looking at Anka eases your anxious heart. She has always been with you, through the most difficult and adventurous parts of life, encouraging you every step of the way. You slowly rise from the bed, as not to wake the princess. The room is empty, void of your guard that had stayed with you through the night. Anxiety begins to rise in your chest. Did they go off to tell Noir about what you had heard? Does this incriminate you further? Everything will be fine, you tell yourself, but it's hard to believe. Taking direct action, you decide to distract yourself by exploring the room. The drawers and closet contain cloths made of fine imported silks, furs neatly put away, and a key to a jewelry box you assume must hold precious gems. Guess the Empress could spare these items if they were stolen. Well, if anyone was ever brave enough to steal from her. The reminder of the Empress brings you back to last night. The pure raw fear in her eyes as she looked to you. There was no anger, no indifference, just fear. Her face in that moment has been burned into your mind. It was almost like she was calling out for you. Or the voices. Could she hear them too? Good morning! Before you can finish your thought, the double doors slam open. At the entrance stands Sinbad, fresh as ever, and behind him Ali Baba, who is less impressed with the grand display. Oh, they look nice in the morning and stuff. A small shriek sounds from beneath the blankets, and then a thud as Anka hits the floor. There is a dragged-out groan as she pulls herself to her feet. Ow! Oh, my apologies, Princess. I am simply excited to start a new day with our new guest. Anka continues to rub her head, her confusion written on her face. Guest? I thought we were being interrogated. Ow. Ali Baba takes a step forward, placing a hand on the shoulder of his enthusiastic companion. Sinbad continues to smile wide and bright. Yes and no. Princess, you are free to spend the day with Sinbad. We'll have a wonderful time. I'll show you all the wonders this palace has to offer. Before Anka can protest, the champion has swooped her up from the ground and carried her out of the room like a bride-to-be. Wait! I didn't even get to change! Sinbad's laughter slowly fades into the distance, and you are met with the ominous silence of the room. It had been nice to be distracted from your imposing thoughts, no matter how fleetingly. Something on your mind? The spy master had soundlessly taken a seat on one of the many velvet cushions in the room. His long legs splay out across the floor, his body completely relaxed despite his intention to interrogate you. Either he doesn't see you as a threat, or he's just messing with you. Pretty sure it's probably both. Yep, see, there you go. Then again, it could be both. Why did you say that I was a suspect? And I'm not supposed to do my job. His tone seems hurt, but he doesn't move from his lounging pose. You were the last one seen with her. Before she fell, she looked to you. Care to explain? All you know is that you can't trust the spy master. You can't trust anyone with your secret, especially not now. Not while you're being accused of murder and treason. Perhaps the truth will reveal itself later, but not right now. I don't know why she did that. If I knew, then I'd have you clear my name right now. A low laugh creeps from beneath his mask. He stands from the cushions, stretching his body. You can't help but watch how his hands easily reach the ceiling, your eyes drifting across him. Now is not the time to be checking out the sky, Panda. Resting his hands on his hips, he shrugs. Very well. What? Really? He gave up that quickly? Then am I allowed to go? Looking at his eyes behind the mask, you can see him smile. Mischief dances in the light of his green eyes, the way someone looks when they've outsmarted another. He approaches you, his gait nonchalant and smooth. He's so close to you, you can smell the mirror on him, and you can see the different shades of blue and green that sparkle in his eyes. They're mesmerizing, even if they're boring into you now. Zahn wants blood, my dear Panda, and he will have it. He pats your cheek, taking a step back from you. His tone abruptly changes. So, when you're done lying and wasting my time, let's talk and figure this out. He raises his index finger, saying one last thing before taking his leave. You have 1 week to tell me the truth. Yeah, you can't lie to the spy master. After Ali Baba has left, you collapse onto the bed. Curling up, you wrap the elegant silks around your body to comfort you. You've experienced your fair share of struggle, and you'd hoped by the time you reached this age, you would no longer have to deal with the turmoils of life. Your mind begins to wander back to where it had strayed before Sinbad and Ali Baba had burst into the room, Ifrita's face before she fell, and the way she looked at you. She must have heard the voices as well, but you couldn't be sure. The Empress was taken away immediately, and you doubted you could simply go and speak to her. Questions flood your head to the brink, the overwhelming feeling nearly suffocating. It feels like being thrown into the middle of the ocean and expected to swim to shore. As you try as you might to swim, creatures grab at your ankles and try to drown you. You suddenly hear a knock at the door. You sit up from your bed, hesitant to respond. If it were Sinbad, he would just walk right in. Ali Baba would as well. Perhaps it's Anka? Who is it? It's me, Noor. May I come in? You curse beneath your breath. Sighing, you finally respond. Yes. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh, she looks nice. The door opens slowly, revealing the general. She doesn't step past the door frame, but even from here you can see the exhaustion beneath her eyes. Her blouse is covered in wrinkles, as if she'd slept in it. Noticing you staring, she brushes a strand of hair behind her ears flushing red. My apologies if I interrupted you, Panda. We are having chai in the courtyard, and I was wondering if you would join us. An invitation to chai? One champion treats you like a prisoner, while the other two treat you like a guest. You aren't sure how to behave in this confusing, maze-like situation. Wouldn't that be inappropriate, considering that I am a prisoner and a suspect? Noor flinches at your boldness, but returns to her normal stoic nature. Perhaps I am naive, or hopeful, but I don't believe you were the one who did that to the Empress. Ali Baba told me about the snakes from the night before. It does not seem like something within your capabilities. I am hoping for us to solve this together, Panda. As a team, I am sure we can work better and faster. You feel a wave of relief when she speaks her thoughts. It is nice to know that she does not see you as a criminal, and doesn't intend to treat you like one. But the spy master came to interrogate me just this morning. Does he still think I did it? Noor's laughter catches you off guard, but it is a light-hearted sound that holds no animosity. Her laughter is a cool sea breeze on a hot summer day. Even after her giggling stops, she continues to smile. He's simply trying to find out what's going on, since he's as confused as all of us, which causes him a great deal of frustration. He's the one who always knows what is happening, and now he's in the dark. I understand that. Her face becomes stern, a frown tugging at the corners of her lips. That doesn't give him the right to intimidate you, but I do ask you to excuse him this one time. I'm sure he feels as concerned as you are right now. There is a lot of pressure put on him. More than Sinbad or I. You talk about him like you know him very well, which is shocking considering his demeanor. Ali Baba and I have met before. We lived with one another when we were sailors, on a pirate ship. You raise your brow. You didn't take the stoic general for a swashbuckling pirate. She laughs when she sees your expression, leaning her shoulder on the doorframe. Oh, sexy, so sexy. Yes, I know. I don't seem the pirate type, but I was a teenager with an insatiable hunger to see the world. Plus, I was a damn good swordsman. I still am. You briefly imagine the general swinging from the ropes of a ship, her black hair loose and drifting through the wind as she flew, confidently landing on the quarterdeck to take down invading pirates. Her voice brings you back to reality and away from your daydream. Will you join us for chai? Yeah, let's do it. Yes, I think I'll join you. Cool. Before, I'm just gonna save real quick. It's been a while since I've saved. Okay, there. Noor tries to hide it, but you can see her face light up with excitement. She quickly dismisses the look, attempting to regain her professional disposition. I'm glad to hear that, if you'll follow me. You follow the general through the intricate hallways, now able to properly appreciate the craftsmanship with the daylight flooding the corridors. It truly is a beautiful place, almost fairy tale-like. You wonder who designed and decorated the palace. Surely not the Empress, who seemed to care little about how others viewed her. Why care about the opinions of sheep when you are a lion? You see new places as Noor guides you to the courtyard, taking a different route than the one from before. Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna actually stop here. It's been around 30 minutes. Okay, so I'll stop here. And so this is MadPanda signing out. If you like my content and you want to see more content like this, please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. and don't forget to hit that bell for notifications. Once again, this is MadPanda signing out. See you later, guys.